the short-term rentals. Can I tell you later? It's good.
Denise, we're all set whenever you want to start.
Okay, I was just counting to make sure everybody was here. Thank you, Heidi. Okay, I'd like to make a motion. We return to open session at 6:55. Motion by Berto,
Second,
second by Gretzmacher. Roll call. Berto, yes.
Gretzmacher, yes.
Kane, yes.
Schmitz, yes.
Shampoo,
Shampoo, yes.
Zashki, yes.
Okay, we are all here. So sorry about the very
I'm sorry,
long
Denise.
wait.
I'm sorry, Denise. I just got back in.
What's the meeting ID?
Okay,
Jason, can I get in on the meeting ID?
so we've already gone back into open. Motion by Berto, second by Gretzmacher, all ayes.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. So what was I saying? Sorry about the long wait, but we had a lot of things to discuss. We have come to a couple of decisions or resolutions that we think will please some, not please others. Julie, do you want to summarize, or would you like to read the proposed text amendment that we're talking about for the zoning code?
Sure, I'll summarize and then read it. So we had some discussion about the R2 zoning, which is where we had some issues or some concerns since we started doing the licensing, and talked about ways that perhaps we could honor some of the development agreements that we made, basically, and decided to possibly propose, we'd have to vote on it, but some language we discussed was an amendment that would list as a permitted use in the R2 zoning district something that would read as follows: transient lodging and or short-term rentals in a residential condominium or multiple family dwelling authorized by a development agreement prior to the adoption of the section of this code. And basically what that means is if a condominium or multiple family dwelling was authorized by a development agreement prior to the date the code is amended, basically they would be allowed to continue to rent as a transient or short-term rental. And just for clarification, that means renting less than 30 days in a row. We also talked about,
Can we just deal with that unless you had more on that particular thing?
No,
Seeing
that's
that you have read that wording, is there a motion to schedule a public hearing on that text amendment?
I would so move.
Motion by Schmidt, second by Kane. Any further discussion? All those in favor respond with an aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Okay, Julie.
we also talked about the short-term rental code, and we're having some issues with parking on there, and thought, should we be revisiting that, the parking minimums? Should we perhaps be requiring development agreements? And should we be revisiting the fee schedule on that? So, definitely no language was formulated. That's something I think if we want to proceed with something like that, we'd probably want to have staff come up with a draft that maybe we could tear apart or work on and discuss at another meeting, but we don't have anything ready for a public hearing on that. That was just discussion at this point.
Okay, so specifically for all those zooming in with us, staff would propose wording to be discussed at a future meeting on how many vehicles are allowed on a particular property, including boats and trailers. Whether or not a development agreement would be required for STRs in the licensing ordinance, and a community development fee that could possibly go to parks and workforce housing. So that will be on a future agenda. Whenever that's pulled together, we'll be discussing those issues.
If the commission decides they want me to do that, I can put that together.
Do we have general consensus?
Yes.
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 Okay, all right, that's a go. And then in general, we had discussion for people in R2 that received an STR license from the village by an administrative mistake, seeing that they were, they're not allowed in R2 without a development agreement. This is a separate issue from the motion that we just made going to public hearing, that the board extended, what was the wording that we used? That we would not take
Take enforcement
enforcement actions until January 3rd of 2024. And we are standing by that STRs are not allowed in R2.
Unless
That-
they were approved, unless that amendment goes through.
Right,
To allow them, provided they had a development agreement.
correct, correct. Okay. Unless anybody thinks that we need to go back into closed session, I think we've taken care of the business that we needed to tonight. Then a motion to adjourn would be appropriate.
So moved.
Motion
second.
by Zashki, second by Gretzmacher. All those in favor respond with an aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you, everyone, for your patience, and the Plan Commission for a long closed session.